Awesome. And there we go.
All right, then I'm gonna kick it off. Like, hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So glad that you all made it today. Um, and yeah, I think a few of us don't know each other yet, so I think I would like to start with a short introduction round, so we know with whom we are dealing today, and then we kick off the workshop. I'm really excited about that. I guess I just start. So I'm Dominik. I've been here in SingularityNET for a few months now, and I've won 3 proposals in DeepFunding round 3, all of which have to do with reputation, knowledge graphs, and stuff. And this workshop is actually part of one of these proposals. And yeah, in addition, I started last year a new company called TrustLevel, and yeah, started to work on AI and blockchain-based reputation protocols. So hand it over to Peter.
Thank you. Peter Elfrink, SingularityNET. Been on the marketing team for some time. I'm not sure how long. 2 years, I think. Mostly work on ambassador program, and yeah, that's all about community contributions. So that's also why the tie-in to this workshop made sense to me. That's it.
Cool, nice to have you. Joanna, you want to go next?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joanna. I'm part of the FOTREC team. We're the team that was awarded to continue our work supporting DeepFunding with developing their reputation and contribution system. Happy to be here with everyone.
Who wants to go next? Jan?
Everybody knows me here, so I won't
Okay.
say anything.
How about you, John?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, I think I know a lot of you already, but there's just some who I don't know. Oh,
Oh, Connor, seems you have some sound issues. Don't hear
Connor,
you.
it sounds like you're in a tunnel, mate. I'm just going to carry on. I'm sure Connor will figure his shit out. So yeah, my name's John. I'm Director of Communications over at Singularity DAO. Previous to that, I was at SingularityNET until Singularity DAO span off and I went over there. I've always been very passionate about the community, decentralization, and everything. So I was very happy to be invited to come over and join these discussions. Looking forward to it, and nice to meet you.
Good to have you on board. Yasmin, hey.
Hello. My name is Jasmine. I'm a CEO of Rejuve.ai, which is another SingularityNet spinoff focused on health and longevity. We're not quite using reputation systems in our protocol at this time, but we have some interesting use cases with NFTs that could be synergistic. And I'm also a longtime member of the community as well.
Cool. Yeah, cool to have you on board as well. And Connor, you want to try again?
Seems his connection is off. Maybe let's give him some time. Check back later.
Okay, who is missing? I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. Is it Hui?
Yes, hi everyone. My
Hi.
name is Roy. I'm the CEO of Mindplex. Currently, we have a reputation system which tries to calculate credibility of users and content based on interaction and motive behind those interactions.
Cool. And Walter, I guess.
Yes, I'm a software developer and an engineering manager by trade, and I know more about crypto and Web3 than I do about AI, though I'm busy shoring up that deficit. So having been into open organizations for a number of years now, I've participated in DAO stacks, Genesis DAO, so I kind of know within that context what they had a reputation number associated, so I kind of understand what happened there with sock puppet accounts and other interesting behaviors. I've worked at Gitcoin for a year, specifically in their department of doing reviews and dealing with Sybil. And since then, I've been working on basically voting power augmented by contribution, participation, and expertise factors as a model for basically not attempting to have a singular scalar reputation, but instead to deal with its components. So that's kind of my main interest.
Thank you. And Abhishek, I hope I pronounced it right as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Abhishek Saxena. I'm doing PhD from Novosibirsk State University, Russia, in artificial intelligence. I'm working with Professor Anton. Thank you for letting me join this workshop. It will be very helpful because I'm working on reputation system, like finding use cases, how it can be good in any other chances. So yeah, this is a very big platform for me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Han.
Cool. Yeah, glad to have you all here today and to have so many different teams from SingularityNET. I hope that will help to have a really good conversation and discussion about reputation today. I'm gonna have a few slides to introduce the workshop today, and yeah, this, as I said in the introduction, this workshop is part of a series of workshops from a successful proposal in DeepFunding Round 3. So we are holding a total of 4 workshops with the goal of providing the best direction for the reputation system in DeepFunding. And the first workshop was last week. We were looking at where we want to go in the next 2 years from now with from the DeepFunding perspective. And today, as I've said, we have various teams from SingularityNET here with us. And on the one hand, I hope we will learn from each other about where we stand, what we do, and what we need in terms of reputation. And then in the best case, find out to what extent there are synergies and how we can support each other to create the best possible reputation systems. So we have about 90 minutes today, and we all know time goes by faster than we would like to. So we came up with an agenda. I asked a few questions in advance yesterday. Some of you had time to already send the answers, but at the beginning we would like to give each team a short a few minutes to talk about their own situation, so we can have a good understanding of each situation and have a good starting point for the discussion. And then we would open it for the discussion. And as I said, first we want to learn from each other, and then see how we can support each other and how we can contribute to a more generic reputation system. Felix will moderate today, and will briefly say how we want to do it. Felix, the stage is yours.
Moin. So, because reputation is an insanely difficult topic, and there are a bunch of rabbit holes on pretty much each corner, we have to be quite disciplined in trying to approach the questions which we have. And also for context, they are on a series of workshops. So today is the second one. The first one was a week ago, where we mainly focused on DeepFunding specific. The whole rollout of the workshops is that we step by step zoom out more and more. And like Dominik mentioned, right, really identify what efforts are there already, what approaches exist, and how can we identify patterns or or differences between them, and see with which knowledge we are able to come up with, which then ideally is not imposed on any reputation system, but emerging from from all the different ones. To keep on track, we try a specific thing, like Dominik mentioned, we have 5 questions. So what we do is we mention each of the questions, and everybody is invited to give one single answer, as short, concise, and clear as possible to the question. Not a dialogue, and no answers are given on what anybody says. We go with this through all the 5 questions. We will, in the background, map out everything, and ideally, being that, let's say, hardcore straightforward. We are Germans, by the way. Welcome by the Germans. We love stuff like this. Just kidding. It's actually a little bit true. And ideally, with this, we get a very clear overview on, what your current approach situation is to all these topics. And this will be taken forward into a 3rd workshop where we zoom totally out and go into a whole ecosystem. So we have, for example, Polkadot, Cardano, Arbitrum, and other ecosystems showing. All this stuff is documented and will be available at the end soon as well. This is the outcome of the whole workshops. So ideally, all the knowledge is made publicly accessible to everybody as well, and you have an easy ride through that. So with that, first question actually is very tricky one. This will be hard to stay short, concise, and clear on this one. Why actually is reputation important for you? Don't have to be technical, can be philosophical, can be whatnot. But how would you approach this one? Maybe the ones with a clear statement I call out first. Jan.
I can only give one answer.
Yes. Yes.
I think in the end, the main thing is to build a strong community. But I would like to add also fulfill the purpose of DeepFunding, which is help the platform grow, which we do by selecting the best proposals out there. So maybe I tricked you into giving 3 answers, but there you are.
I take your first one. There's 2 others we cut out at the edit later. Don't worry. No. Kidding. Thanks a lot. Pete, from your side at the Ambassadors program.
It would be about recognizing contributions in a traceable way.
That's a nice one. Okay. Then next one, I don't have anybody in mind actually. Should I call people out, or would you like to prefer to go for it?
I would call them out. That's more efficient.
Okay, let's call people out. John, because you did already. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm going to cheat because I'm representing 2 companies, so I get 2 answers. Is that reasonable?
No. We don't make deals yet.
Come on. Okay. So, I mean, I would say over at Singularity DAO, it's gamification to create repeat users. It gives you a reason to log in every day. It gives you a reason to perform more actions. It gives you a reason to do more than just the task you went there to do. So it's a good funnel into additional pieces of the app or the project or the protocol or whatever. Competitive nature of human beings is something to play into with reputation.
This was a pretty awesome answer. Let's take a second one then.
The second one, so over at Sophiaverse, we're also working on governance systems and reputation scores, but that's much more to do with creating a solid source to track contribution alongside a contribution in terms of time and energy, but also in terms of ethical stance, because it's about governing the ethics of AI development. And so we need to be able to score not just those contributions that the people are doing by, staking or retweeting or sharing information, but also the contributions they're making to the discussion itself. And giving some value to people's opinions, because obviously there might be one guy giving just crappy ethical points all the time. We need to be able to value in a way that it's not us deciding, in a decentralized and ungoverned way that just automatically values these things. Trustless.
Beautiful said. This was nice. Would love to bring this all to one sticky note, but that's really good. Thanks a lot, John. Then calling out Joanna would be the next on the screen.
Yeah, I think mine is a combination of all three. So just to create like a synergy between like positive incentivized behavior by individuals and decentralization in the realm of Web3 and this new digital landscape, just being able to create opportunities for more of like a shared economy and people contributing to shared values and making meaningful contributions to their ecosystems.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Joanna. Then next would be Jasmine.
Yeah, so I thought of kind of three different ones. So the quality of products and services being delivered. This is for Rejuve project as it relates to health and wellness. Secondly would be the integrity of the research being done. And the third would be along similar lines as others have said, recognizing impactful contributions, power users, things of that nature, like people that are really going above and beyond in their participation.
I like the term power users. It's cool. It's the first thing. It's a nice one. Thanks a lot, Jasmine. Next one would be Hui.
Okay, so for us, we are in the content and networking business. So reputation system will help us to understand the reliability, quality, and credibility of the content itself, and then the content creators, while we can also use it in a fair governance system.
Nice one. And the second one's a governance system. Then Abhishek.
Yeah, actually, my answer matches with Rohit's a lot. For me, a reputation system is like giving more chance for small wallet sizes also to better participate in the system. And it's a better governance model. Even the small wallet size or a small channel can be represented if reputation system is there. That's from my side.
Thanks a lot, Abhishek. And Connor, are you with us?
Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time.
Wow. Hey, Connor. Nice to hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, I don't know what that was. Everything seems fine on my system. Hi. So sorry, what's the question? Like
the first question is, because speaking about reputation in your context, why is a reputation system actually important for you?
yeah, if you look at in our context, which is users posting user-generated content, if you look at existing platforms, they have a few different models, like these things like Medium or Facebook, where it's tied to your real world reputation, and people will only say certain things when it's their real face there, because they're embarrassed, frankly, or they want to present a certain image to the world. And then if you have a pseudonymous platform like Twitter, people will say a different set of things because it's a different reputation. And then if you've a platform with no identity at all, like 4chan, people will say a different set of things because they're not even damaging a virtual reputation, like a reputation of a username. So this shows that by influencing different by using different reputation systems, we can influence how people behave and the kind of discourse that ends up taking place on the platform. So in Mindplex, we've talked a lot about how to deal with bias and low quality content. So yeah, reputation is key to doing that.
Awesome. Thanks, that Connor. And Walter, from your side.
So to me, there is no such thing as a singular reputation. I think there is generally a misunderstanding. Reputation is good or bad, not high or low, kind of like ill repute and so on. It's an assessment of the consensus of the opinion within a peer group. So just pick your peer group. I mean, obviously, everybody from a hitman to a dentist have their own reputations, obviously, within relevant communities. As far as the way we're looking to use it, I think there are two very distinct fields. One is within the organization when the person has very strong stake and claim on the organizational operation. We keep coming back to, we want to give more say to people who've been around longer, more up to speed, contributed more. So we want to affect their voting weight in decision making for the organization, including the ones that influence them a whole lot. And there I've decided not to try and distinguish participation, like when you show up every day, versus contribution, where you work on something and you make an impact regardless of how. And so participation clearly fades with time. Contribution probably not. You may want to grant, you may want to invite Vitalik and give him 5% say in your decision just because you respect their expertise. So that's kind of my current thinking on a 3-factor modifier to voting weight. Quite separate from that is...
Walter, question was, in a as short, concise, and clear statement, why a reputation system is important for you?
Yeah,
this general,
is what I'm saying,
not so much on the
that
specific
reputation
use case.
systems, the way most people talk about them, are not interesting to me any longer because I've seen them not work too many times. What I say is you're describing two distinct cases, voting weight versus basically a review system. So like for content, you want to weigh somebody's review based on whether you care about their opinion. Likewise was the, some kind of assessment, for the proposals. And again, I believe that it's more about whether you trust somebody's individual opinion, whether you trust them. And so I don't believe in portable reputation. And, I may give some weight to friends of friends assessments, but not so much to some. So there is basically an algebra of reputation. And so, somebody running up high scores of reviews, it's too open to sibils and fake reviews and so on. So that's where I'm at in figuring it out.
Thanks a lot, Walter. Then we have everyone for the first question. Thanks a lot already. What is already interesting to see is that, there are definitely lots of commonalities already. and some sort of patterns. The second question will ideally help us figure out a little bit more, which then would be, once again, same round, what are your goals and use cases regarding reputation? So some of you mentioned already, but based on this, you can go a little deeper on this to say, okay, from a user's journey, for example, or a user's perspective, really, what would you like to have them as well as what is the experience for them, right? Once again, we try to make it as short, concise, and clear as possible. And we should make the same queue like last time. So I would call first Jana. And I forgot to mention one thing actually at the beginning of the workshop. Like, we are all people used to have most likely more than 100 tabs open and switching over screens like in millisecond speed. If you are able, close all your tabs and fully concentrate on the thing here. Because main topic really is as well like building, let's say, a collective vocabulary already on what reputation actually means, right? All projects here have already quite strong ideas and efforts going on their own reputation systems. And our main attempt is really to figure out, okay, what connects them all, right? Wherever can we find our stuff, what can help and benefit all of them. So full attention, close all the tabs, and yeah, show is yours.
I
Your
did what
goals.
you were saying. I was working on some messages and looking at some tabs, but I'm sure it was very important. No, just kidding. I have a whole list of things that we want to achieve with reputation. I just reopened the form that I submitted and added one to them. So I'll just read through that. So first of all, if we can identify people that give the most desired contributions to our website, to our portal, we can endow them with a higher voting weight because they are more engaged and more knowledgeable and maybe have a higher expertise. So that is one thing. The other thing is that if we have these people identified, we could also amplify the things that they are doing on the platform, so that the people with the highest expertise or the people that are most valued by other people on our platform, that their contributions will get more visibility. A very technical thing is that by adding their voting weight to their votes, we will also mitigate wallet splitting. We're doing quadratic voting in Singularity. Well, the term is a little bit being discussed at the moment, but we are applying a quadratic algorithm to token balances in thinking about voting weight. So there is an opportunity for wallet splitting, but by adding these reputation weights there, it's much harder for somebody to get a high reputation on 100 wallets, for instance, if they want to split it that way. We also want to reward people. In an ideal scenario, we would like to be able to reward people for contributions. We've done so in the past, and that invites all kinds of gaming behavior, so we need to be very cautious there. But intrinsically, I think there is some value in being able to reward people if they do valuable work for the platform, and those contributions are valuable and important. So if I would have the option and could keep out too much gaming behavior, I would like to be able to reward people for that. Another thing which relates to what Walter was saying, it's not just necessarily one score, but I would like to be able to filter out the right people for the right jobs, whether it's as part of a circle or something within the operational layers of DeepFunding, or whether it's a team that needs somebody in a specific role with specific expertise or background or whatever. Then a more diversified reputation score could really help filtering out right people, which would also work on a jobs marketplace, for instance. Group behavior, there's also reputation. This also ties into voting a little bit. There are two things about group behavior. I think it's very, very interesting to think of reputation not only related to individuals, but also related to groups of people and to teams. Often the magic is in the team. If you have the 5 best performing people in a large community and you put them together, they might not be the most successful team because you need diversity, etc. So having reputation not only to individuals, but also to teams and groups that collaborate would be a great thing. On the other hand, in voting behavior, you actually might want to decrease weight when you see too much correlated behavior, because we like people to be independent-minded and individuals rather than group think. So if we see group think, whether it's abusive or whether it's there's no ethic there, but if we see group think, we would like to reduce the weight a little bit. And I think in general, and that's what I started out with the first question, I think it all boils down in a certain way to building a strong community. If you see that good behavior is rewarded in many different ways, then you're incentivized to also show good behavior. And that will build and protect the integrity of a community. So that is very important. That's it.
Nice ones. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Joanna, I'd have you next on the screen. Do you mind?
Yeah, sure. I think for me personally, the main goal would be to develop like an interoperable architecture that's capable of probably aggregating diverse inputs from different sources that would then eventually allow you to create this score or contribution engagement score in a non-biased way. So maybe with the support of AI and not just based on human input or things like that, and maybe to be able to capture those diverse, meaningful contributions that we speak about that aren't just like outputted in terms of numbers or like a score. So different types of participation or, you know, contributions in different ways. And then I would also encourage cross-platform portability in some sense, just for the overarching Web3 landscape. So to incentivize also individuals and support them in being able to benefit different ecosystems with their expertise across, you know, the Web3 landscape and in different ecosystems. Yeah, and then everything else that Jan mentioned. So I don't want to be too repetitive.
Cool. Thanks a lot for this, Joanna. This one would be then Pete.
I'll also try to not overlap too much because there is a lot of overlap. Basically, one of the use cases is providing a non-financial incentive. Also to take it into voting weight, we do have now a bit of a role definition based on earlier contributions. So if you've been active in the past half year with some parameters, this will give you a role, which will give you governance. And yeah, this modular system where all kind of different reputation systems or scores would feed into one bigger. That's the end goal for me. Pretty much as Joanna described.
Nice. And if you strongly agree with somebody else said before, like, don't respond to it. But if you said, hey, this is actually really important and I second that, please do so, actually. Well, the first one can't because nobody said something before, but anyway. Next one would then actually be John. John again. There you go, man.
Sure. It's actually quite interesting listening to everybody else's answers because everyone's looking through a different lens and all trying to solve the same problem. And I won't pick anyone out in terms of echoing because I've been asked not to, but I would echo certain things that pretty much everybody has said, but maybe add a little bit more context on what we've been thinking over at Singularity DAO in terms of how or why. You've got from Jan's side the need to reward what I would describe as very personal contribution. People who are really getting involved in the discussion. And that can be somewhat subjective in terms of who, what, when, where, how needs rewarding. Then over at SDAO side, we've got almost the opposite of that, where we just want the blockchain to decide. We just want a scoring system that works and is just mathematically sound. And we don't even know who's getting these reputation points. We have no interest. We just want them to know and everybody else to know. We want the chain to know. Then it goes to what Joanna was saying about just building this framework, which is based in just very solid math, but having the ability to take Jan's needs, which are substantially different to Singularity DAO's, which are again substantially different to Mindplex's needs. And they could be running different reputation systems with different weighting and different scoring, but there should be in this base framework some kind of levelization so that they can all feed into one greater score, which is like the singularity score, right? So over at SDAO, it's just purely actions taken, services provided, get your points. You got 20 million. Over on Jan's side, that 20 million might be 3. As long as we balance that 20 and that's 3, that compatibility layer is what's needed. And then cross-platform, cross-project, cross-whatever, cross-requirement, cross-need. But we need to build that underlying balancing engine that takes all these different solutions, because there's not going to be one solution fits all, but there can be one level above or below it that does fit all and brings it all together into a single reputation score for beneficent AI, essentially. And I think there's a couple of problems to solve, but one of them is the balancing between all of these different requirements.
Nice one. Speech. You definitely have some speakers talented, that's for sure. Then who was next? Then I was deep into taking. We had first Jan, Joanna, Pete, John was the thing. So Jasmine.
Okay. Yeah, so our goals are one of them I can see kind of related to the previous kind of things I highlighted. One would be kind of a line of production verification, whether that be up and coming longevity drugs and therapeutics or even existing supplements. So kind of being able to verify, where ingredients are coming from and what processes are being used, and kind of integrity of the companies themselves. And then that kind of goes right into the next one of scientific validation, not only of products, but of studies that are being done, being able to verify that they have kind of rigorous scientific processes and good ethics and mitigation of bias and conflicts of interest. And then on the community side, it would be for the governance, because as the kind of Rejuve network matures, there'll be more need for different governance, and as it becomes more like a DAO, and they'll be able to work on building out these or building upon these very same concepts that we're kind of laying foundation for, to be able to continue these out into the real world. So those are the, I guess, main goals that I can see in our project.
Awesome. Thanks, that's Jasmine. Next one would then be Hui. I like to say this name actually because it's like Hui. In German we say when we're happy about something. Hui. That's good.
Okay, so for us, the goal Mindplex is what we are trying to build is a collective brain, or the swarm brain. So getting people's attention matters in our business. Of course, getting people's attention is not going to be difficult if the values or what you are offering has no standard. You know what I'm talking about, because today's media scenario or social media scenario. So what matters is how to get a meaningful attention, and this is what we call a meaningful mental capital. Because after all, everyone in this planet, we interact, whether it's on social media or in your friendly bar, or it could be in your library. You are reading. When you are reading, you are interacting with a writer. When you are buying, you are interacting with product makers, the service providers, whatever. So how can we make a meaningful mental capital out of all these interactions is objective for Mindplex. And then you need to have some kind of reputation system so that, like I said, getting the attention is not what matters, but getting a meaningful attention is what matters in this scenario. Also, we have this reputation system. And then whenever people interact, whether it's on social media or, like I said, in our day-to-day life, could be in the office, in the bar, it doesn't matter. We have motives. We behave in certain ways, and these certain ways are governed by our motives. What are our motives for this particular interaction type? For example, Walter was mentioning that reviews are fake or things like that. So why are users giving this bad review? That's like, before you answer the why, if you know a little bit about the motive, it will give you a more clear understanding of the why. And then again, you can also understand whether it is fake or not, because sometimes you cannot just say this is fake or this is actual before you have a clear understanding of the motive. So our objective in a nutshell is to create a meaningful mental capital which eventually can contribute, to the Singularity as an online media community. You can see the potential that millions and millions of people can contribute something meaningful to the benefit of all humanity and then to this coming Singularity. We also believe that even post-Singularity, information will be the only constant. I mean, right now we know a little bit about reality. I mean, carbon-based life forms are dictating because we are the supreme nature in this planet. But what about the post-singularity? If you ask me, the only constant will be information. Whether an information exchange between two computers, between two biological life forms, between a computer and the biological life forms, it doesn't matter. But we know that information is a constant, post or before singularity. And, measuring the reputation of this information objectively and accurately matters a lot for us.
This was a beautiful philosophical deep dive. Thanks for that speech. Beautiful one. Also, it's insanely difficult to map this into a single sticky note, but I do my best. Give me some time on that.
No problem. Welcome to the Mindplex.
Awesome. Then we have Abhishek. Would you like to go for?
Yeah, so I see that everyone is from SingularityNET. So I'll discuss about my goals, which I was doing in PhD. So we are discovering various use cases for weighted liquid rank reputation system. The one which I have completed and published was finding kind of an opinion leader on cryptocurrency stock on Twitter dataset. We found that after weighted liquid rank reputation system, the users, the top rankings have changed completely, because if supposedly there is a trend of people and large, say like channels like Binance and everyone, they were mentioning few users, and these users were getting a lot of exposure in the community. That's why they were trending very fast. Instead, when we actually ranked with liquid rank reputation system, we found the users which were after say 50 rank were the top rankers, like Elon Musk and Vitalik. I'm just giving you my final output which we got. Why it was happening? Because these users were being mentioned by multiple channels or users on Twitter. Instead, their number of mentions was low, but they were mentioned by many other users. That's why their reputation ranking was higher and more impactful. So that was our goal, and this use case was finding the opinion leader on Twitter data set. So we found that reputation system was very helpful there. And we can see that reputation system for any particular use case changes a lot. As it's happening, we tried another use case of predicting Bitcoin price change and volume trade in the second project I did. Here, after applying liquid rank reputation system to the users which were helpful on the Twitter dataset only, we changed according to that. We found the correlation improved, but it was very negligible, like 2-3% of correlations improved with reputation system. So this is what I have done till now. That's what I have discussed. And of course, right now the goal is to better the tool for voting system in SingularityNET. So I feel like weighted liquid rank reputation system can actually be very helpful there. Yep.
Cool. Thanks a lot. The first time the term falls in today's workshop, so I know the liquid ranked reputation systems, which is beautiful because whoever dives in, there are a bunch of reputation systems and more being built every day. But awesome. Thanks a lot, man. Next one would then be Walter. Walter, now you can deep dive on the topics. Go for it, man.
So what I'd be interested in right now in terms of the assessments of proposals is to take them out of the realm of opinions and into predictive ability, since by now we have a number of, after 3 rounds and a number of people, kind of deciding on it more than once, we can probably, if we invest in assessing the outcomes of those proposals, did they deliver? Was it quality stuff? Was it worth the money? We can actually see who had the predictive ability to identify the good and the bad, and then we should listen to the ones with the predictive ability.
Expected something much longer from you on this topic. I mean, come on.
What? No, I mean that I thought that was actually like useful and actionable.
It is. It indeed is. Don't say that it's not. It's for sure. Then, and next one would be then, thanks a lot, Walter, by the way, Kana.
Yeah, I work with Ray, so I mean a lot of what he said anticipates what I wanted to say. Another part of our use case, if you have a social media or a user-generated media platform, the reputation also serves as a reward, and it's part of the fun, and it's trying to get people addicted. So, people like watching their score go up and pump that number up, and that's part of what hooks people and brings them back to the site again and again. So that's a use case that also needs to be considered. That's a little different from the other things we've talked about, but needs to happen at the same time. I mean, our main use case is just simply to distinguish good quality content from bad content, and have the best content rise to the top. If you have a platform like, say, YouTube, there's too much content on YouTube for anybody to view. So the issue that YouTube have as a software platform isn't even having the content so much as selecting among the content. user will have a good experience on a media site if A, that media site has good content present, and B, that good content is front and center. So how do you rank that content is a really core problem. So that is, yeah, that's obviously related to the reputation of the person generating the content. Yeah. So yeah, our use cases are, you know, something that'll engage users and something that will rank content.
So thanks a lot. This really a nice point, which pops up everywhere in each project, right? So high quality contribution, like having, and whatever the contribution outcomes then actually in the end. Very differently defined in different groups, what is really cool. Like I have to see all the different perspectives on the same topics. Just listening to you is really good stuff actually. Which brings us also to the third one then actually, which would be, what did I forgot somebody? I didn't? Ah, cool. Okay. Ah, nice. Then let's go forward. Then the third one sounds maybe a little weird, like because we are now one's superior and coming to you asking you on your reports or whatnot in this regard. So it's not meant like, hey, what have you accomplished until now? It's more like, okay, when looking on what you just said before, how you see already, okay, why is reputation mismatch generally important to you and how you approach these topics? Like, what have been, what positively or negatively, like successes or failures happened so far on your journey towards your reputation system? And I would go first again with Jan. What have you accomplished since now? Really proud or really ashamed of? Everything's welcome there.
No, I'm definitely not ashamed. So what I'm proud of is not so much the results, but the fact that we have a very experimental mindset. So we're doing. And instead of doing research for 3 years and then develop for 2 years and then we just start. And so we started very early on with quadratic voting. And of course, with quadratic voting, or at least quadratic calculation of the token balance, that offers an opportunity for people to benefit from wallet splitting, Sybil attacks. So then we introduced reputation scores as a mitigation to that. So people with a higher reputation would get higher voting weights. And that way, yeah, you can make relatively easy, split your wallet into 100 small wallets, but to create 100 substantial reputations would be much harder. So we did that very, very simple by assigning ratings to all kinds of behavior on the platform, and then having a kind of algorithm that would create a kind of average score, contribution score, if you want. All of that has been done in Excel sheets, in spreadsheets, and then also subtracting that and adding that as a weight to the voting results was done in a spreadsheet. And what we also did with this reputation score is use it to incentivize people to create contributions, also in a spreadsheet. So there was a huge spreadsheet with a large possibility for errors and issues, etc. But it worked. It worked at that stage. There are also definite limits apart from just the scale and the reliability. One limit is that we would never be able to have something like liquid reputation in a spreadsheet. So that was very clear from the start. Another thing that we encountered, which not completely unexpected, or at least it shouldn't be unexpected, is that people try to game the system for rewards. And actually, I think that mainly can be attributed to the fact that we put rewards based on AGIX, at first at least, and then suddenly our token 10x'd. So those rewards, which were quite modest when we defined them were suddenly quite substantial when they were paid out. And then that attracted new people who thought, hey, I would like to have a piece of that cake. So yeah, last round we had a lot of bots and stuff. And what we did there, that's interesting, I think. We said, you know, I'm very experimental. Some of the community don't like change that much. So they say, Jan, you have to do what you promised. So we said, okay, we promised we'll use this algorithm. So we'll pay out the bots and the scammers because we promised. Okay, let's do that. But after that, after a long process with the community, we also created a manual reputation score. So we asked our review circle to assess and evaluate all contributors and contributions. They did that by use of some algorithms still, but then they evaluated manually, piece by piece. And it wasn't done perfect, but it was a nice counterbalance with the completely algorithmic one. And then we just added, we gave those people an additional bonus. We said, we just want to let you know that we appreciate you a lot. And despite previous amounts going to bots, we also want to give you some extra benefits. And that was appreciated also, I think, a lot by our community. And to be honest, when we're going forward, I think in the next round and a round after, until we reach a state where our reputation system would be reliable enough and resilient enough against gaming, if we would ever reach that, I'm not 100% sure. I think this is a good way because you can still use algorithms, but you will have human assessment on top. And it will also open up a little bit more surprise factor. You could have a theme without saying that in advance. After each round, you could have a different emphasis. You could say, this round, we will do something special for all our new contributors because we value them so much. Or the next round, you could say, this time we want to put the people that create really long contributions or insightful contributions, and we put them on the stage. And maybe the third time it's something, the people that only do a few, but very insightful or whatever. And the next time the one that do the most. And if you are not saying that in advance, it will be very hard to game. And it will be like a real bonus, like a surprise, like something extra, and not purely transactional and calculated. So this is what we've done so far. We also, after the reputation, the Excel-based, the spreadsheet-based thing, we had the team of Joanna and Votrek build an automated version. Now we have migrated to a new platform, so we probably need to adapt that automated version as well. It does basically the same thing as the spreadsheet, but it's easier configurable. It makes all kinds of nice graphs, and there's less room for error, I would say. So that's a small... It's a proof of concept. I'm not sure if we will build on it, but we will build on the code, but we will build on the concept and the ideas behind it. I hope that's enough and not too much.
Oh yeah, I made a bunch of stickies out of that. Thanks a lot, yeah. Thanks a lot indeed. And then already to the next one, next one on the screen right now is John.
All right, yeah. Let me know if I'm super loud and need to mute myself. There's builders downstairs. I don't know if you can hear that awful drilling that I can hear, but hopefully not. Do I sound all right, or?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, cool. So going back to what we discussed in the last question about how there's lots of different requirements for different types of reputation systems across the ecosystem. Within our projects, there are also various uses for these reputation systems. So what we've done over at Singularity DAO is we've broken them down into specific goals. So we need a reputation for our launchpad so that there's an elegant solution for people to gain access to that launchpad. We need a reputation system for our voting so that, as Jan was speaking about, we don't have these, for lack of a better word, unfair scenarios where people with massive amounts of tokens can just outvote people who are maybe more dedicated. There's a whole number of, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 use cases that we have just in Singularity DAO alone. So what we've done is we've broken them down. I don't want to use the term solved because that's definitely not the case, but we've solved at least the foundation of how we want to do the reputation on the launchpad. We've solved at least the foundation of how we want to do the reputation for staking and on-chain participation. We've solved to some degree, although not as close, the reputation system for the DAO and the voting. And we're actually just about to put out a new proposal to the community to bring this in. So we've got that figured out. What we're working on at the moment is how to track it and what we can track whilst remaining immutable and trustless. There's certain low-hanging fruits that are fairly easy to track, on-chain actions being one, anything with a Twitter login being another, for example. And there's good solutions, especially because we're on Ethereum, to track all of this in one place, like on DBank. You can just get all of that in one place and track it all in a single solution. So in terms of our needs, we're pretty confident that we've got the base level. That now we're shifting focus to how do we balance then internally with these 2, 3, 4 different types of reputation, and that's what we're focusing on at the minute, is getting that balance figured out. So then we have the SDAO rep score. Then we would, in theory or in hope, have that built in such a way that it's compatible with the SNET rep score in some scenarios, because there will be crossovers as well. Like our DAO solution may be good for the SNET DAO solution, or vice versa. It could be that we see what you guys come out with and we go, oh, can we steal that, please? Or can we combine the two, or whatever. It's kind of a shame in some ways that everyone's working on these things in silos, but it makes sense because everyone's working A, at different pace, B, with different priority, and C, with different goals. So it's inevitable. But yeah, so we've accomplished quite a lot, honestly. We've got like papers, we've got proposals about to go out with the new systems. They are not advanced. They are very simple. Get the job done, set that foundation layer, and then expand, I would say.
This one, thanks a lot, Sean. And one question, do you have some material what you feel comfortable to share as well?
I don't have it prepared, but yeah, I mean, I was going to bring that up with the next 2 questions. Like, we have a lot of materials that we can share with the group. Yeah.
Oh, this would be cool to get some, throw everything in, and then, oh, Dom, do we have this here to read through all the, no, we have AI, cool, yeah, no, we can do go through the stuff, and look already, okay, cool, what is hidden there, maybe, Dennis? Well, thanks already a lot, John. And after John, it's Joanna.
Yeah, since we're very heavy related to what Jan mentioned in the DeepFunding work, we, as Fotrec, automated the contribution scores from the voting port, from the proposal portal. And from that, there's a lot of lessons. One is that we really need to focus more on the architecture and what that would mean for the greater system, and how, we need to develop something that we can keep developing on top of. So that was, I think, a huge plus. And then the concept of, like, one of our team members at the time created these graphs, like Jan mentioned, to analyze centricity or centrality algorithms to see how different nodes affect others in a system. And that was like right off the bat, you're able to analyze how different community members and their actions are correlated. So that was also very interesting, and we can build on that, top of that. And then, yeah, just like we've been slowly building a more comprehensive plan for DeepFunding and its reputation and governance, and how that would fit in with the greater SNET ecosystem, and how your reputation in DeepFunding could enhance your involvement in SDAO or vice versa, and everything that John mentioned as well.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Joanna. It's actually funny because on my screen is first Jan, then John, then Joanna. all the cheese with a screen. Pete, this next one.
It seems like every round I keep dropping in your list somehow, but that's fine.
No idea. In Zoom, it's after J, it's Pete. So there you go.
All good, all good. Yeah, on accomplishments, it's a bit twofold. In one way, it feels like we're only just getting started. As I mentioned, like for Q1, we're now experimenting with having a governance role based on contributions over time. But yeah, one of the achievements would be having that data over time. For the past year and a half-ish, we've got, I don't know the exact number, but it's, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 contributions tracked in on-chain metadata. So that's in itself quite an accomplishment. Just the step of like the next step, what you do with this data, that's where we're at right now, I would say. Also, Felix, you yourself had the voting experiment based on this data set. Yeah, so that's still early there. Yeah, I think there's a ton of value in having this data. It's just figuring out how to use it. Like it is labeled like stuff like if you do a video contribution or anything like community communication, project management tasks. Like this is all. It's pretty rich data, I would say. Yeah, and then a short remark on what John mentioned on basically siloed approaches within the ecosystem. I think it's always like that. I feel like first it diverges and then it's hopefully, and this type of workshop will help there, also converges later. And I think we're getting there. That's about it.
Much agree, and thanks a lot, Pete. And because that's interesting, and Ambassador's program would really say that the contribution system is insanely advanced. Yet the reputation to exactly what to make out of the contribution, this is a topic where we're also already quite advanced on. It's beautiful to see. Then Walter. Walter is next one.
So let me speak of the negative side of the this type of reputation in the DAO decision making. There is already between the founders, also known as core, and the community, the masses. There is already largely impermeable barrier, and while our intuition says that people who've been the longest, contributed most, are most active, are best prepared to make decisions, but that also pretty much seals the organization into, Politburo centralization, and, only reinforces these people already have, all kinds of authority and popularity and control and stake in it. And so they already make all the decisions anyways. And I've kind of studied it, and it's interesting just how concentrated the decisions can be in terms of, one person always ends up on the right side of a proposal. The one that they vote against always fails, and the one that they vote for always passes, which makes you wonder, right? Why even bother voting? Just ask that person. They already control the outcome, through whatever means. So that's the downside, is basically if you amplify the voices that are already very strong, you're doing away with your diversity, you're getting rid of your non-core stakeholders.
Actually, really like that you point out some of the largest risks, the risk of any reputational system, right? For example, the whole thing with popularity, because after all, we are social creatures. We are still humans. We can use the best tech. Still won't change our mindset. And that's definitely a massive challenge. Thanks a lot for this, Walter. And next one then and also reading the live chat, because it's true, we are already 20 minutes before closing. So we won't get through everything, but seriously, everything what we got so far from you already is definitely at its finest. So therefore, thanks a lot already. And maybe we simply go as far as we can and stop at the top of the hour.
Yeah, my suggestion is that we put together the last two questions. Yeah, exactly, like Peter said. So, and then everyone just give a brief answer to that, and then we see how far we get.
Nice. Okay, let's do this. But first need to close this one then. Still on the what have you accomplished so far. Next one would be Chessman. So we make the last round, and in the next one we try to combine the both and go last minutes to them.
All right. Well, yeah, these are a bit of a complex architecture and we're short on time, so I guess I'll just mention the overall ethos and, you know, everything is on our site if you wanted to know a little bit more and they're not already familiar with it. But so we don't actually have like reputation system per se, but we do have something called a data NFT and a product NFT. And those are kind of already written, they just need to be audited. And so the data NFT serves as the kind of identity token in the network as far as being a part of the research initiatives, and also permission gateways to kind of share data with outside entities. And so that one alone is not really as amendable to reputation because there's sort of, you know, a desire to be a little bit anonymous sometimes. And that's where you know, that kind of goes into the next subjects as well about like having generic systems. But then we have a product NFT, which is the tracking of the person's data to an actual incepted product that comes to be. And that one's a bit more amendable to, you know, the reputation aspects and kind of the preservation of, you know, privacy there because it's connected to, you know, their own data NFT of like kind of a weighted percentage of how much was contributed, but the data itself is sort of still a private entity that's only linked via hashes. And yeah, so yeah, we're definitely you know, looking for solutions even ahead of us kind of having this whole network in action. It's always good to have these things planned out ahead of time.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Chessman. Then oh cool.
Okay, so on our side, we have started with a measurement and how we can understand the motive, because we are going to focus on the accuracy of our reputation system, because your reputation system should also have a reputation for users to give you a meaningful attention, or to have our objective, which is to gain this meaningful mental capital. You have to have an accurate and an objective reputation system. We have integrated it with blockchain. So we have a reputation token, a kind of soul-bound token, which is non-transferable in any way. You can't buy it, sell it, or you can't delegate it. And then when it comes to the accuracy part, for example, Jan was mentioning the problem about users, you know, creating or appointing bots so that they can collect as much reputation points as possible for the reward. Or even Walter was mentioning about this concentration of reputation, and then once these people are beefed up, there will be no room for other users. So in our case, our experiment starts first with, for example, like I said, the motives, and then the bots, in the case of Jan, are called, in our case, association bias. These bots have a motive. They are associated with a certain user. They're trying to benefit a certain user. So this is what we call the association bias, which our reputation system considers. It will try to map out which user, it could be a bot, it could be a human, it doesn't matter. What's the relationship between user A, user B, and the actual content? Another thing is we have this categorical reputation. In the case of Walter, for example, you can have like 200 or 300 or 1 million reputation points, but each of these reputation points will also be categorized. So if the voting is, for example, how to hunt deers, most of us here are not hunters. We're in the tech business. So our reputation in that category will matter. Even if I have 1 million reputation points, if the topic is about deer hunting, what's my specific reputation in that category will also be considered, so that there will always be a room for newcomers or for actual experts in specific topics. We have several API points and several interaction types so that we can collect these things, and then the system will try to sort it out in different categories. And then similarly on the association bias, we will try to map relationship between users, relationship between the user and the certain topic. We are also experimenting with cognitive biases, because the walks of your life, your education, your background will also have the tendency to create this bias whenever you are interacting on certain topics, whether it's voting or giving a feedback, it doesn't matter. So we are experimenting with these things. We have seen some good results on the association, on categorical reputation and things like that. But when it comes to the cognitive biases and more deep parameters like that, there's a challenge, because first, we are a decentralized platform, which means we don't track your identity. We don't track you on other websites or your activities on other platforms. So the data we are going to collect regarding to your background or related information will be a little bit challenging as a decentralized platform. We promise our users that we don't care about their identity. All we care about is their behavior on the platform, which means you gave me your consent when you create an account on my platform, and then what you behave on that platform is going to be tracked by this reputation system. So yeah, of course, getting quality data for these parameters will be and is a challenge, especially if it's related to your identity or to what you do on other platforms. Just like Connor mentions, for example, some users behave in a certain way in a certain topic or in a certain area. So tracking this will be really difficult, especially if you are a decentralized platform. But it's doable, because like I said, for us, the two important aspects are the motive and then how you can measure that motive, and then how you can distribute it in different categories and different topics. So for the last 9 months, our platform has been active, and then we have tried and experimented with these parameters so long. For example, we run different giveaways on different platforms. And then users will come to our platforms and they will start to interact with content. They will give you comments, or they will give you thumbs up, thumbs down, blah, blah. And then we know that some of the users are not giving you a meaningful attention. They're just giving you these feedbacks or interactions just to collect these giveaway rewards. It could be 25 AGIX or 100 MPX, it doesn't matter. But if they're behaving in a certain way, you can understand their motive. In this case, their motive is to collect the reward, or like Jan mentioned, the bots are helping the user so that the user can win the round, or the user can collect the AGIX reward for the interactions. So in some aspects, our reputation system has worked very accurately, but in some aspects, like, for example, like I said, the cognitive bias side, we are not there yet, but we're still experimenting.
This was a really beautiful deep dive. Thanks a lot, V. Then next one would be, who's on the screen right now? Dom. No, Dom not. John.
Me? I think I went on this one.
You went already? Why are you on the screen?
On number
Zoom.
3. On number 3, yeah.
Okay. Then Abhishek.
Yeah. So I'll take my projects only. So in the first one, we were finding the individual user's reputation, which was more important for the use case. for finding the opinion leader, we were able to accomplish that. And in the second project, when we were predicting Bitcoin price change and volume traded, so we analyzed the user reputation, and as a cumulative effect of the whole group, we can say we were finding what will be the impact on the how we'll be predicting Bitcoin price change and volume traded. So we were able to accomplish that also. As I told before, means there was very less positive correlation, varying from 2% to 3% only. But in few cases, we found that volume traded was more correlated to the group. Sentiment analysis was already done, and over that, when reputation system was accomplished, we can say like there was a positive impact, but I cannot say there was a big impact to implement that kind of a system in at least in Bitcoin price change and volume traded correlations. So that's what we have accomplished, and we were working on other. Right now, I'm working on stocks because Twitter dataset, like users are more having more knowledge about stock. There is more debate about stock. So this sentiment analysis on stock users is better. So I'm trying this as an experiment as a next project.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Abhishek.
Yeah.
Did I miss someone from this round?
I think Jasmine and Connor.
Oh,
Right?
Jasmine, please go for it then. And after that, Connor. Thanks, Tom.
And I think I answered this one already, unless we're on to the fourth.
Oh, sorry. Then it's just Connor.
Yeah, what have we accomplished? Well, we have a platform and we have some users and we have them posting content and getting reputation scores. So we do have a live and active reputation system with real users. So yeah, well, we've accomplished quite a lot. Like we have built and deployed an actual reputation system. We created some incentive programs where people get coins for like early signups and posting content, and a lot of people were posting a lot of low quality content because they were just trying to game the system. So I think it's too early to say how well our reputation system works. If it actually creates the kind of content we want, we need more data to answer that.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Connor. Then,
Amazing. I guess, yeah, we're running out of time, and the first 3 questions were meant to be a warm-up, and the last 2 questions were, I guess, more the deep dive, how we can support each other. My suggestion is that we organize the round 2 for everyone that sees value in it. I guess Felix and I will put together everything from today, and then yeah, might suggest a second date in the nearest future, if that's of interest for everyone.
from my side, would be okay. Pete says 2, because yeah, we know everybody's fairly busy already, and you're busy for really good reasons, and you should be busy for really good reasons. So we don't want to take you off from that. But yeah, if reading through the whole thing, that's something where you see it brings value to you, then yeah. Dom, would it be fine for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Sure.
cool.
So let's consolidate everything from today, and yeah, we're gonna keep you posted. But yeah, I hope it was very valuable for everyone. It was, for me, very, very interesting to just listen today and see like what everyone is doing. I think many great initiatives and a lot of good thinking around reputation, and yeah, it's such a complex thing to solve, and it needs many bright brains to solve these challenges. But yeah, I hope it was valuable for everyone. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining today.
Yeah, maybe my thought is in the next meeting we could focus a bit on the architecture and design of the ideal reputation system, whatever that is, and maybe compare designs that, for instance, Mindplex and SingularityDAO already have, and that we are thinking about, that we are designing, and see where they overlap, where they differentiate, how they could be plugged in or help each other. So I think that would be a very valuable thing.
Yeah, very much agree.
And maybe to make it the meeting effective, because next time we'll also be short in time. No matter how many meetings we have, we can spend weeks on this topic alone. Maybe we should think about what we can already deliver before the meeting, so that everybody comes in the meeting already with some kind of mental conceptual idea of what's going to be discussed, so we can get to the core of the matter more quickly. Just
yes.
And see if we can carve out another date. I'd like to also, from my point, to thank everybody for their time. I really appreciate it. Some of you I know were having a heavy fever. Others had to get up at 6:30 in the morning. I won't put any names here, but all of you very much appreciate your comment. And I hope this will be indeed one of these things that can bring us together. Even we might not build the same system or whatever, but at least knowing from each other what we're doing and where we're heading would already be a benefit and add value. Sure. And I'm sure actually at some point we can also not diverge, but what's the other one? Converge. Again, on both systems and processes, etc. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. We will keep you posted, and yeah, thanks again so much for joining and contributing to this wonderful workshop. So
thanks, Felix and Dominik, for arranging this and for your wonderful initiative.
Awesome.
Cheers, guys.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank
Stay
you,
awesome.
guys.
Thank you, everyone. It was really nice to see you
again.
So nice to meet everyone. Thank you, guys. Bye.